since I can't get all this up on a 10-minute video, I'm going to do the best I can here. Uh, the, Starting like about on the 28th, 29th, 30th, I really don't remember, 30th, 1, 2, and 3 anyway, just now this month and last month. I put a lot of videos up, but these pertain to the Audie Murphy plane going down here at Catawba, which is a mental health hospital right near Catawba and the Appalachian Trail. In fact, they moved the trail up in 91 a little ways and have a monument where it went down to Audie Murphy, to him, where the plane went down. The focus has been for a long, long time on mental health or mental illness. I wrote a book back in 75 to April Fool Day of 80 when I was almost killed, murdered. Shouldn't have lived, but I did if you call it living. It was about, my book was entitled MD, A License to Kill. And I was living at Moonraker Apartments, which at the time was owned by had been owned by Penthouse Magazine. It was then owned by, out of Utah, the church out at Mormon Church. So Larry Flint was shot then, and while I was living at the apartments, he was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, March the 6th of 78. Everybody, I mention him because everybody knows Larry Flint was shot and his attorney killed. So I had never met Mr. Flint, but I was doing the book on mind control murders. I was also telling about Warren and Rosina Matthews, forensic pathologist at Piedmont Hospital. That's where Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor, and he was worked, and he was one of the subjects in my cases. And then later I'm flown out to Flint's in '83 when the U.S. Congressman Larry McDonald, doctor, the plane he was on, the KAL, veered into Russian airspace and was shot down. Well, I've been trying to tell from way back that this is how some of the planes go down. The pilot can be programmed, or if they put a federal marshal on there to protect you, they can have him programmed and he'll come out shooting you. Or just like the teachers, they want to give teachers, like at Sandy Hook, they want to give them guns maybe, and they can be programmed to shoot. So that's what's going on, is mind control being used. It's a weapon, and they can do it. And I put this up in mass. They can mass program armies, etc. And I'm going to go here to just give, because everybody knows who Flynn is. He says that here that I know who was responsible for his shooting in Lawrenceville. He flew me out there, and I was out there twice. Now then, Mr. Flint showed me the parody that he did on Falwell, Jerry Falwell, the Reverend from Lynchburg, Virginia, Liberty University. I wondered why he showed it to me. That was in October of '83. And I never knew that I'd end up here in Roanoke. He furnished me a car, and I had the car for a year, and I never spoke with him again. I know that he was locked up in Butner, North Carolina at a time and tortured with drugs. His wife died, Althea, and they almost took his power of attorney away. Well, I think they did try very hard. And so he's had a bad time for telling the truth about politics, the Bloomingdale tapes, and all that. So I'm showing that as background for what I'm going to try to get to on this tape, so I don't have to make another one and then give background to connect it. One of Scott Peterson's attorneys was Mark Garrigus. He was also Michael Jackson's attorney for a while anyway, in all this. And there's a reason I mentioned Michael Jackson, but Mark Garrigus' attorney, as far as I know, I've never met him personally. I have faxed and all that over the years. But personally, I've never spoken with him. I did speak there toward the end to his investigator. And the investigator, I mean, what it told me was he knew exactly what was in my book and everything, because the investigator's name was Scott. Oh, okay, what was it? Scott Ross. That's my son's name. All of it gets so ludicrous. My son's name was Ross in the book. My son's name's Scott, and Mark's name was used, and Christopher in the book, that was his name. But I spoke with Mr. Flint, so he actually, I don't know that that was his real name, the investigator, but it let me know that certainly he knew what I was talking about, that Scott Peterson, that was a programming. Scott Peterson didn't kill anybody. But I did get a letter later, and this is what the Marshal, Robert, said to me. He said, "What does the L mean?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. Didn't know what it meant." He said, "Well, it means Larry. Flint, it's got Flint up here, address, Larry Flint. But when they mailed it, and that's, where's the postage here? Postmark. July the 27th, I guess it was 2004. It was in Missoula, Montana. But it's awfully hard to get it in. But I guess that Martin Garagos must be Flint's attorney. I'm not sure, but that was Martin Garagos's address. Now then, it said, "Dear Peggy, come to Los Angeles at once. Meeting set up with the Windsors representative for August the 15th. Well, I did go out there. I didn't. It was on a Sunday, though, and I got out there, and I ended up turning around and coming back because I thought, that's got to be a joke because everything's closed, and I didn't have money to get to and from, and quite frankly, I thought somebody's made a joke out of this letter. It was later when the marshal said that, he said, what does the L stand for? But anyway, I was listening to a program last night, Coast to Coast, and the gentleman did tell a lot. Some of the things I had told about cloning, and there's a movie that came out about Hitler and cloning way back. And this was in 80 when I worked at the DA's office after they had almost killed me. But then over the years, I've not even thought about that. But this gentleman last night was also telling about using doubles like for Hitler. Well, cloning Hitler. Now then, my father wasn't cloned. There was a double used. This is my dad, Edward VIII. And I didn't find out until later in 83, 84 about my kidnapping. My father never married Wallace Simpson. He was married to Georgia O'Keeffe, the artist, to her sister. This is going to go out. This is the double look-alike. Married Wallace Simpson and became the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, which is an illegal title. In other words, they just stole it all. And at least this gentleman last night on Coast to Coast, which would have been, yesterday was the 3rd into the 4th time zone here, but he mentioned also the fact that, I'm trying to think now, I'm losing train of thought. I can't get things in order here. I'm having a rough time myself. But he mentioned, and I put this on Facebook and all this, he mentioned that about just exactly what I've said about the war being put together for the intention in part of it's invasion. It's not refugees. They've invaded Europe and overrun them, and the custom laws, and half the people, like the UK. I've been watching what's coming out of the UK. Supposed to be American friend. Heck, the United States kidnapped me, took down my dad, Edward VIII, and with total lies. And now then, gee, isn't that something? Europe's being overrun, invaded, and that's what I said. This man at least said it. And see, people get mad when you say the United States is behind this mess. Believe me, they do. But what I wanted to get to is I never knew I was going to be here in Roanoke.